I live? Hi. I don't know if this thing is working. I'm Regina Spektor. This is my Facebook Live situation, and my record is out today, Remember Us to Life. And so, some of you have written in with questions. I'm going to try and answer some of them. They've printed out some of them for me. What inspired your decision to write all new songs for this album? I think that it wasn't planned. It just kind of happened where I was writing all these new songs from this new headspace of knowing that I'm about to have a child and then becoming a mom, and they were all adding up, and then when it was time to make the record, they didn't want to be separated. They just wanted to all be in the same group. So they got to hang out together on this record. How has your songwriting process changed over the years when you compare albums like 1111 or Soviet Kitsch with the music that you're just releasing today? It's hard to know how it changed because I don't actually feel like the way that I write songs has changed. I feel like the way that I record songs is really different because it went from me literally pressing play and record on a boombox to then being in a friend's studio where everything was just one take live on a piano that he really kindly would tune, and he would just record all these songs that I'd written that year. And now I get to have more resources, the chance to work with other musicians, really great gear, the chance to arrange instruments, and just, I think the way I produce records has really changed a lot. Songwriting is just always still feels the same. Every time I write a song, I just get really, really happy that I wrote one. And then I usually think, what if I never write another song again? And then I think I probably will, since I've been writing songs all my life. How do you feel when a fan says that your music means so much to them and that you have had an impact on their lives? I feel fucking amazing. It makes me very grateful, and it makes me feel really happy that I'm useful. I think that a lot of the time people struggle with not wanting to be just another resource-sucking being that's not living up to their potential, And I think that when somebody says that a particular song or an album or a show made them happy, I just have that momentary sense of, okay, I'm doing something, I'm useful in some way, and it makes me feel this feeling of peace and that I'm actually doing something with my life as opposed to just being a slacker. Do you enjoy comics and cartoons? Which are your favorites and why? Yes, I do, very, very much so. I love graphic novels, but I think my favorite cartoonist is Chris Ware. He's just incredible. He has so much soul and depth to his work. I just really recommend him. Chris Ware. And of course, there are tremendous amounts of cartoons that I love. Very obviously, The Simpsons. I think that I remember being sick on tour, and I think I was in New Zealand, and I stepped into Magic Simpsons Channel country, because you get this feeling when you're on tour, especially if you're not feeling well, and that opening of The Simpsons comes on, and you just feel like, oh, everything's going to be okay. It's it's that chicken soup, home away from home feeling. But then it was over, and then as soon as it was over, the opening started again. And for the next, I think, 5 hours, they just had nonstop Simpsons. And that was really just my favorite time being sick on the road, if you can have a favorite sick time. I really love Futurama too. And then there are tremendous amounts of old cartoons that I grew up like. I really highly recommend Soviet cartoons like Umka and Cheburashka, and there's just the Snow Queen, the Russian old Snow Queen is amazing. And then there's Hedgehog in the Fog and Tale of Tales. And you could find them all on YouTube. If you just search Soviet-era Russian animation, a lot of the time when I get kind of homesick for my childhood, I go on there and I go on these like long movie and cartoon of Soviet-era binges, and it's really amazing. Let's see. I think those were the ones they printed out. Let me see if I could answer a couple of more before I have to go, because tonight I am playing a show at the El Rey second show. Let me see. What are you listening to lately? I am listening to a bunch of Broncho. I really like their record, Just Enough Hip to Be Woman. It's a very good record to bounce around to and to have fun to. Let's see. Well, I don't know. I'm very bad at figuring. Some of these are not questions, but they're nice to read. Is it possible to make or reprint 1111? I'd love to have that as a physical copy. If you can believe that it's on my very, very long to-do list, that I think it's been on my I have to get this done list probably for a decade now. So I'm very sorry about that. It is possible, and I'm going to do it some point. I've lost all of the original files of the artwork. Everything was just done on Polaroids and Goodwill, and my dad helping me. So I don't know where any of that stuff is, but I'm going to reprint it at some point and make physical copies, and then you can have one. Let's see, scroll. I'm gonna try. Hold on. This is funny. I'm gonna. Oh, what are which song? Hold on. The Trapper and the Furrier. Oh, The Trapper and the Furrier, which is a song from the new record. It says here, I just love the way the lyrics and the music work together to create this ominous, terrifying tone. So my question is, how would the ideal music video for that song look? I personally get the Little Red Riding Hood vibes. That's cool. Oh, and also, what are your favorite Twilight Zone episodes? Oh my God. Well, when I was pregnant, I rewatched. Well, I'd never seen all of the Twilight Zone, but I rewatched all the episodes that I had seen and then watched all the ones I hadn't. I just think it's the greatest show ever. It's so deep and so, I don't know, it's just so timeless and current, and it's very current for right now. Some of the favorite episodes, it's just very hard because I don't like picking. It always stresses me out to pick favorite songs or favorite things. I really love the bomb shelter episode. I don't remember the title of it, but there's this thing where they have to build a bomb shelter, and they think that a bomb has gone off, and it basically turns friends against friends, and it shows how greedy people are and how people are kind of ready to survive at the cost of anything. And yeah, it's kind of it's kind of good in our climate of trying to close things with walls, and it's a good episode to watch if you're thinking about refugees, which, as a matter of fact, just for those who don't know, I'm in America because I was a refugee and I came here with refugee status. Let's see. A lot of these are not questions. They're very nice statements. I will come to all these countries, and I also love you, and thank you. It's really, I'm just one person. It's really hard to go to everywhere right away. I'll try to get there. I promise. I'm going to find one more question so that I'm not just like scrolling and saying live on Facebook and not wasting your time. Oh, whatever happened with Beauty, the musical? Last I read that you were writing music for Broadway, but it's been years since I've seen any updates. Actually, it's been years since I stopped working on it. It was a show that was going to happen, but I was writing just the music and not the lyrics, and we sort of worked on it for a while, but then it started to become something that wasn't what actually me and the director and the lyricist or the producer envisioned, so we decided to call it. And but if I ever do write the music and the words myself, that's something that I discovered, is that as awesome as it is being a composer, I really fucking love words, and I want to write both. And so if I ever write a musical, I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to write the words. Do you have any movies that have inspired your music? Which ones? Thank you. Oh, I love all your music. Greetings from Mexico. Mexico. Thank you. I constantly get inspired by films when I write songs, and I feel like they're just some of my favorite things to dive into. I feel like it's maybe a little bit less work to watch a film than it is to read a book or listen to something, because the entire world is completed for you. So it has the cool thing is that you really get this like very immersed experience where you have all these art forms sort of converging. You have writing, acting, you have cinematography, and framing things up for you. So you kind of don't get to pick your own perspective. You get locked into a perspective. And also you have music, score. As a matter of fact, a lot of people say they don't listen to classical music or to jazz, but they're constantly listening to it all in films. As a matter of fact, they don't even realize how much classical music they're listening to, because all of score, for the most part, is classical music. But it's really hard for me to pick apart which specific films are ancestors of certain songs, but I definitely know that just getting filled with a vibe is a lot of the time how you end up kind of starting to unravel a certain idea. Or for me, I love movies. Like, I love them a little bit too much. Like, I have to like not watch movies all the time, constantly, or else I wouldn't do anything. And shows. And I'm gonna find maybe. When are you coming to Chile? Everybody's asking me to come to their country, which makes me feel very invited. Thank you. I'll try and get everywhere. Oh, hi Regina. I love your art. Love your interpretation of Akujava. He's a Russian singer-songwriter, bard singer that I love. Have you ever considered joining a bard slet? I'm going to assume that's autocorrect, and that you meant set, doing a Bard set? Did you basically doing an entire show of Bard songs, maybe? I feel like, you know, I love to cover songs. My most recent song that I covered was While My Guitar Gently Weeps. It was for Kubo. Oh, and that goes with the cartoon question. If anybody wants to see an amazing animated film, Kubo and the Two Strings is really beautiful and touching, and it's all this special puppet stop motion animation that's just the most magical looking, epic, beautiful film. And I got to cover While My Guitar Gently Weeps for that. And I love covering songs, but it's really hard sometimes to find your own way into a song. And so I kind of just do it here and there, little by little, only if I feel like I actually can bring something to the song. And plus, I just love doing all my own songs. So I don't know, maybe someday I'll do a full Bard slet, but I don't know. I don't know when that's going to be. Okay, and yeah, I think there are a lot of questions in here, but do you smoke weed? No questions. The new album is perfection. Thank you, Emily. Okay, on that note, I'm going to go and get ready for my show tonight because I've only slept 4 hours. And I am going to sleep so that I could sing, so that I could hang and celebrate the record being out. So thanks for joining me. Happy birthday to Remember Us to Life, and see you in the internet.